You know, every era of technology has a sort of silent turning point, that moment when the tools we use start to feel like they're a part of us. Well, today, we are diving headfirst into one of those moments. We're talking about a future where AI isn't just another app on your phone, but becomes the entire interface to your digital world. The source material for this whole analysis puts it perfectly, saying we are entering a convergence point where artificial intelligence no longer sits behind the interface, but becomes it. And listen, this is way bigger than just a smarter Siri or Alexa. We're talking about a fundamental shift away from you clicking through menus and websites to an AI agent that genuinely understands your goals, takes on your digital identity, and just acts on your behalf. And that brings us to the core concept of this whole thing, the interface singularity. So what is it really? It's that tipping point, the moment when these AI agents become our main way of getting things done online. They basically abstract away all the messy stuff, all the apps, all the websites, all the services we have to manually deal with now. The really crucial thing to get here is the shift from giving direct commands, like open my banking app, to just delegating high-level goals, like, hey, handle my finances for this month. See the difference? Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But it's actually the logical next step in a very long history of how we've always made technology easier to use. So let's take a quick trip back in time to see exactly how we got to this point. Yeah, check this out. Back in the 1940s, programming meant physically plugging wires into panels. Seriously. Then in the 60s, boom, the command line arrives, a huge leap. The 80s gave us the graphical user interface, Windows, icons, the mouse, and suddenly computers were for everyone. The 90s brought web browsers, which hid the entire complexity of the internet. Then came touch and voice, and now we're in the era of AI prompts. You see the pattern here, right? With every single step, we get further away from the machine's logic and closer to just expressing pure human intent. Okay, so let's bring it back to today. One huge piece of this whole puzzle, the abstraction of creation. Well, that part has already happened. It's here, and it is quickly becoming totally mainstream. I mean, just think about it for a second. With a simple sentence, AI today can generate working code, ridiculously realistic art, music, entire articles. The barrier to creating things, which used to demand years of specialized knowledge in pretty much every field, has just been flattened. It's incredible. You don't need to know how to build anymore, just what you want to imagine. Which, of course, leads to the big question. If AI can create almost anything we can describe, what's stopping it from doing anything we ask? Why can it write the code for a website but then totally fumble when you ask it to actually publish that site for you across a bunch of different platforms? Well, the answer is that creation is one thing, but complex, multi-step interaction, that's a whole other ballgame. So to really understand that gap between creating something and actually doing something, we have to look at the key technical pieces that today's AI agents are still missing. So what's the missing sauce? Well, the source material points to 4 huge pillars of infrastructure. First up, a persistent identity. Your agent needs to be you securely across every service. Second, an interaction fabric, basically a common language so agents can talk to each other, something way better than the clunky APIs we have today. Third, long-term memory and autonomous planning, so it can handle complex jobs that take days or weeks. And finally, an economic layer, so agents can actually pay for services and exchange value. Without these things, our agents are just clever puppets, not truly autonomous actors. Okay, so we've laid out the problems. Pretty big ones, too. So how in the world do we solve them? Let's switch gears and explore the architectural models that could actually build the foundation for this wild new future. One really powerful idea that's been around for a while is something called the actor model. Here's an easy way to think about it. A normal API is like a vending machine. You put in a specific request, you get a one-time response, and then it totally forgets you existed. The actor model, on the other hand, is more like having an ongoing conversation with a personal assistant who actually remembers what you talked about before. It treats services like they're alive and have a memory. And this is where we see the big trade-off. The actor model is awesome for building systems that don't break easily and can handle a million things at once. It's all about messages, so it's perfect for the kind of back and forth that agents need. But, and this is a huge but, it's procedural, it's not goal-oriented. You have to tell an actor how to do something, step by step. It doesn't get the big picture. It handles the how, but it has no idea about the what. Okay, so if the actor model handles the how, then what handles the what? This brings us to a really cool, mind-bending idea in intent state fabric. Just imagine telling your smart home, make it movie night, instead of having to say, dim the lights to 20%, close the blinds, turn on the TV to HDMI 2, and set the soundbar to cinema mode. You just state your intent, your goal, and the system figures out all the steps to align the reality, the state of the room, with that goal. That's the big idea here. And this is how it all comes together so beautifully. You could have a new kind of architecture where the intent state fabric defines the what. That's the ultimate high-level goal you're trying to achieve. And then the actor model comes in to execute the how, all the individual, reliable, nitty-gritty actions needed to make that goal happen. It's really the perfect marriage of a big picture director and a crew that can execute flawlessly. So let's just dream for a minute. Let's imagine a world where all these foundational pieces are in place. The persistent identity, the memory, this powerful new way for agents to coordinate. What does life actually look like when the interface singularity finally gets here? Well, the ripple effects are massive, and they hit everyone. For us, the users, it's going to feel like magic, pure convenience. Your agent knows you so well, it's like an extension of your own thoughts. But the line between what you decide and what your agent thinks you decided starts to get really blurry. For platforms, the entire game is upended. Websites and apps, they become kind of irrelevant because users never go to them directly anymore. The agents do. And just like that, you've lost your direct relationship with your customers. And for developers, you're not building user interfaces for people anymore. You're building capabilities for other agents to use. Your whole business model is now about getting chosen by the AI. But this all leads to what might be the single biggest risk in this entire future: identity lock-in. Think about it. An agent that learns your habits, your preferences, your little quirks for years, that's not just a tool anymore. It becomes part of your cognitive life. It knows you. Switching to a new one wouldn't be like switching from Gmail to Outlook. It would be like trying to start your entire digital life over from scratch. This creates a level of dependency, a lock-in so deep you might literally never be able to leave. And that brings us to the final and most important question of this whole explainer. This technology is coming. Its arrival feels, well, pretty much inevitable. So the question we all have to start asking ourselves right now, while this future is being built, is this: who is going to own the interface to everything? Is it going to be a handful of giant corporations building these massive walled gardens around our digital lives? Or is it going to be all of us?